Warning! This video blog or vlog could contain harsh opinions or foul language. If you do not appreciate said content or material, well, you could just fuck right off.
Greetings, Internet people. RantingRamsay here. How are you all doing today? What I wanted to talk to you about today was something that's been on my mind for a couple of days since I uploaded my video by the title of America is a Society of Distraction. In the comments section of that video, a YouTube user by the name of Green Gear Mood posed to me this question in the comments. And while I agree with everything you said, is there anything else you plan to do about it? I'm all for doing more and saying more about the status quo, but when points like these are brought up without a grander plan, people look at it as pessimism and tend to lose hope. And I thought about that for about 3 days now, and I realized that to a degree he is absolutely correct. Without some idea or grand plan for if not changing, then influencing the way things are either done or thought about, criticism is only the first stage, and it is not. And it is only as productive as what it leads to next. Unfortunately, I don't really have a grand plan. If I was that kind of thinker, I probably would have a much higher paying job than I already do. You know, levity intended. But then I came to the realization that I could, if nothing else, help to inform people or to educate them to form their own opinions, if you will. Though it is indeed a small step, it is still a step in the right direction, I feel. And so, at this point, it is my intention with this video to help enlighten as many people in the general American citizenry that I can, that they have more than 2 options in the upcoming presidential election, despite what CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News might have you to believe, and then CBS and ABC and NBC vicariously as well. And I just got like a small list. This is an inadequate list. This is just a few of the options, aside from Democrats and Republicans, aside from Mittens or Barry, that you have. I'm not saying that you necessarily need to agree with the platforms of these parties or like their candidates, simply to acknowledge the fact that you have more than 2 options, and possibly to investigate the platforms of these parties for yourself, and maybe, just fucking maybe, find a candidate that actually supports the majority of the views and things and ideals that you'd like to see brought forth in the next 4 years. The first one that comes to mind is, yes, the Libertarian Party. Gary Johnson is the Libertarian candidate for president. He will be more than likely one of the options on your ballot, depending on which state you live. But once again, these 5 are going to be on the majority of the state's ballots. There's a chance that the state in which you live may not have these candidates on the ballot, but for the most part, when it comes to the 50 states of the United States of America, these candidates will be on the ballot in the majority of those states for the office of president. Number 1, like I already said, is the Libertarian Party, Gary Johnson. There is also the Green Party with their candidate, Dr. Jill Stein. There is also the Constitution Party with their candidate, Virgil Goode. There is also the American Third Position Party with their candidate, Merlin Miller. There is also the Objectivist Party with their candidate, Tom Stevens. And these are only 5 of the alternate candidates that you have at your disposal when making your choice in the November presidential election. Though these candidates have not received enough news coverage to be viable contenders in the upcoming election due to the slanted system and media coverage that would have you to believe that there are only two political parties in America, those of us intelligent enough to understand that the sheeple are being duped can attempt to band together to put votes or to pull votes away from the puppet parties, the Republicans and the Democrats. If enough of us band together to make a statement and pull a small percentage of the votes away from the two puppet parties, and the projection is 5%, if 5% of the majority, or 5% of the votes in America goes towards one of these third party or independent party candidates, it will be a significant thing. The news media will have no choice but to acknowledge that at least a portion of us are no longer buying their bullshit. And if they do ignore it, if enough of us are willing to speak out, then there's no way the voice can be silenced without an obvious repressive action, which can lead to more socio-political action. It seems insurmountable. It seems like, well, there's really nothing we can do about it. But that statement is true. Though, I mean, the statement previous to the whole there's nothing we can do about it. There is something we can do about it. We can actually make our voice heard by starting by voting for one of the non-two puppet candidates. It doesn't matter which one, really, because if enough people vote for one of these other candidates, the numbers will be too significant for the media to ignore. And then if the media does ignore it and it comes out later, there is a position for the people to make a fucking stink about it, for lack of a better term. The ball is in your court, America. Will you keep being fed lies from the media and accepting the scraps from the tables of the wealthy? Or will you stand up for yourself and at least attempt, at least try to make your voice be fucking heard? It's your it's your fucking country. Fucking say something about it. To not do so is simply fucking asinine. I'm RantingRamsay. That is all.
Hey, did you get all that, man?